Hello and welcome to the Global Innovators in Business series. In this series, we interview leaders and innovators from different fields to share their experiences and advice with undergraduate students to provide inspiration and motivation. Today we have with us Joe Rehmann. Joe is the founder and group CEO of Victory Farms. Victory Farm is truly disrupting the entire idea of building a business in developing countries. First off, tell us more about Victory Farms.
Sure, yeah. Within Africa, there's a massive food deficit, specifically protein deficit. So in order for us to shift the African diet off of hoofed animals and onto more sustainable forms of protein, which could be poultry or fish, we need to find ways to build at scale food solutions that can address that need. The practices that they're using, particularly in Africa today, are almost identical to 4,000 years ago. The introduction of any forms of technology is minuscule. And so there's this opportunity for us to come in and take 50 years of learnings from salmon and some of the other aquaculture industries, adapt them for African aquaculture, for tilapia, and then basically create an industry that can scale. So we now run by far Africa's largest RAS system, where we actually hatch eggs from the tilapia in this incubation system, which is a recirc. It's been a massive enabler. So the cost of producing a baby fish for us is maybe 1/5 of our competition. And so that's enabled us to start to take the cost structure of the industry and start to break it down.
Right after graduation, what was your path and how did what you did afterward, investment banking, lead you towards your current journey?
From my own experience, I ended up spending almost 5 years in investment banking. And I found that built a very solid base. And when it comes even to today, I still work with my whole accounting team and finance team on how to think about the building blocks of finance. Whether it's that or consulting or even marketing or another angle, I think that the large employers or some of the traditional paths can offer great learning blocks of time. And while I was an undergrad and even when I was in investment banking, I did do a couple trips to Africa. I looked at starting a pineapple business with a good investment banking friend. We ended up not doing it, but looked quite seriously at it, but frankly didn't feel ready. And him and I actually had the same chat where we're like 2 years into banking and we just felt like we weren't there yet to be launching a business. And so I think there's a lot of passion and desire to get something going and to have an impact, and it takes time. So to start the clock on that process, I'm going to look at this as how I build myself so that when I do launch on my own or join a venture, I'm bringing more with me when I take that step.
What is your advice for a student and young professional going forward if they're looking to create impact in their career?
What was very helpful to me was focusing on what I thought did the most for my development, not actually for my CV. And so my view on it is nurture your passion, allow it to develop. If it's conventional, that's fine. If it's unconventional, that's also fine. So try to find the balance between the two to let yourself go into the dimensions that you want to go into, but don't be afraid of saying, and the thought certainly went through my head at some point, how many years am I going to spend in investment banking before I start to go after things I'm really passionate about? And that thought can revisit you periodically, but I wouldn't also be afraid at all, because you can get things from those experiences too, which will then help you do other things.